In the quiet suburbs of New Jersey, a nightmare was hand-delivered. No fingerprints. No DNA. Just a voice that knew their names, their children, and every move they made inside their own home. The Broaddus family thought they had bought their dream house. They didn't know someone was already living inside the walls. Imagine you have just bought your dream home. 6 bedrooms, 4 fireplaces, a quiet street in one of the safest towns in America. Your children have already argued over which fireplace Santa Claus will use at Christmas. 3 days after you close on the house, you go to check the mailbox. Inside is a white envelope. No return address. Just 2 words handwritten on the front. The new owner. You open it, and you read these words. Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard. Allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. How did you end up here? Did 657 Boulevard call to you with its force within? 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out. It is signed, The Watcher. The year was 2014. Derek and Maria Broaddus were living the American dream. Derek had grown up working class in Maine. By his 40th birthday, he was senior vice president at a Manhattan insurance firm. Maria had grown up in Westfield, New Jersey, a quiet, wealthy suburb 28 miles from Manhattan, one of the safest places to live in the entire United States. Together they had 3 children, aged 5, 8, and 10. In June 2014, they purchased the house at 657 Boulevard. Built in 1905, Dutch colonial style, 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 4 fireplaces, nearly 4,000 square feet. They paid $1.3 million. Maria had grown up just a few streets away. Her parents still lived nearby. This was not just a house. This was home. Before moving in, they decided to renovate. They sold their previous home. They moved in with Maria's mother temporarily. The children were excited. The future was bright. 3 days after closing, Derek went to check the mailbox at the new house. He found the white envelope. He read the letter. He called the police. The officer advised him to secure the property against vandalism. There was not much else they could do. Within 2 weeks, the second letter arrived. The second letter was different from the first. The Watcher knew their names. The Watcher knew the names of their children. The Watcher knew they drove a Mercedes and a Honda minivan. The Watcher had been watching them. 657 Boulevard is anxious for you to move in. It has been years and years since the young blood ruled the hallways of the house. Will the young blood play in the basement? Have you found all of the secrets it holds yet? I will find out. Young blood. He was talking about their children. Derek and Maria stopped bringing the children to the property. They could not move in. But they also could not sell. They had already sold their previous home. They were trapped. The third letter arrived weeks later. Where have you gone to? 657 Boulevard is missing you. The letters contained details no ordinary stranger could know. The layout of rooms inside the house. Which windows faced which direction. The specific movements of the family as they came and went for renovations. The windows and doors in 657 Boulevard allow me to watch you and track you as you move through the house. It will help me to know who is in which bedroom. Then I can plan better. Then came the most chilling line of all. There are hundreds and hundreds of cars that drive by 657 Boulevard each day. Maybe I am in one. Look at all the windows you can see from 657 Boulevard. Maybe I am in one. Look at all the people who stroll by each day. Maybe I am one. Maybe I am one. The watcher was not hiding in the shadows. The watcher was right there. A neighbor. A stranger in a passing car. Someone they may have already spoken to. The Westfield Police Department opened an investigation. They focused immediately on the neighbors. Next door lived a family named Langford, a man in his 60s who still lived with his elderly mother and several siblings. Neighbors described them as reclusive. Police investigated. No evidence. No match. The previous owners had received one letter from the watcher days before moving out. It had not seemed threatening. They had thrown it away. By December 2014, the police told the Broaddus family they had run out of options. The family hired a forensic linguist to analyze the writing style of the letters. They hired a former NYPD detective. They hired a private investigator. None came any closer to an answer. They applied for permission to tear the house down, to demolish it completely, to divide the land and sell it as 2 plots. The Westfield Planning Board held a public meeting. More than 100 residents attended. The neighbors did not want the house demolished. The proposal was rejected, unanimously. Rumors spread through Westfield that the Broadduses had fabricated the letters, that Derek was in financial trouble and trying to get out of a bad investment. The family who should have been victims became suspects in their own town. In February 2017, almost 3 years after the first letter, a fourth letter arrived. The watcher knew about the lawsuit. The watcher knew about the depositions. The watcher was still watching. And this time, the letter was no longer cryptic. Maybe a car accident. Maybe a fire. Maybe something as simple as a mild illness that never seems to go away, but makes you feel sick day after day after day after day. Maybe the mysterious death of a pet. Loved ones suddenly die. Planes and cars and bicycles crash. Bones break. Bones break. This was no longer a letter about a house. This was a direct threat against the lives of Derek, Maria, and their 3 children. The Union County Prosecutor's Office took over the investigation. In 2018, they asked residents near 657 Boulevard to voluntarily submit DNA samples. Analysis of saliva on the envelopes had confirmed one thing: the watcher was a woman. None of the DNA samples submitted by neighbors matched the letters. In December 2017, something strange happened. Multiple families living near 657 Boulevard began receiving anonymous letters. Signed, Friends of the Broaddus family. The letters contained personal information about the neighbors, their routines, their secrets, their private lives. The neighborhood was terrified. Who was doing this? Was it the watcher again? Was it the Broaddus family themselves, in retaliation? Investigators set a trap. They monitored the postal collection points. They traced the postmarks. They watched and waited. When they identified the sender, they expected to find the watcher. They expected to finally have their answer. What they found made no sense at all. The sender of the neighborhood letters was not the watcher. It was not a mysterious stalker. It was not a dangerous criminal. It was Derek Broaddus, the father, the victim, the man who had suffered 3 years of psychological terror. Derek had been sending anonymous letters to his own neighbors, in a desperate, misguided attempt to flush out the watcher, to make the neighborhood feel what his family had felt, to provoke a reaction. He was charged with harassment. The charge was later downgraded. He received no jail time, but the watcher was still out there. In 2019, 5 years after buying their dream home, the Broaddus family sold 657 Boulevard. They paid $1.3 million. They sold it for $959,000. A loss of nearly $400,000. On top of the renovation costs. On top of the legal fees. On top of 5 years of terror. The new owners of 657 Boulevard have not received any letters. The watcher's identity has never been confirmed. The case remains officially open. No arrest has ever been made. In 2022, Netflix released a drama series based on the story. The Broaddus family requested their real name not be used. Because this is not entertainment to them. This is their life. There is one theory investigators found compelling. A retired English teacher had told students he wanted to write letters to a Victorian house in Westfield. He retired the same month the first watcher letter arrived. But the DNA from the letters confirmed the watcher was a woman. He was eliminated. So who was she? A neighbor who had watched that house her entire life and could not bear to see strangers move in. Someone who had lost a bid on the property and never forgave the Broadduses for winning it. Someone who passed that house every single day and felt something no one else could understand. Nobody knows. And somewhere in Westfield, New Jersey, she still does. That is the story of 657 Boulevard. A dream home that became a trap. A family destroyed by letters. And a case that remains officially unsolved. The watcher is still out there. Older now. Perhaps watching something else entirely. Perhaps watching nothing at all. Who do you think she was? A jealous neighbor? A disturbed stranger? Or something stranger still? Leave your theory in the comments. I read every single one.